Hello and welcome. I am so happy today to introduce to you my friend Kaycia Ellingsen. She's going to share with us about her life becoming a mom of many in her own journey of grace. It's a beautiful story of overcoming. And at the end of our interview, she's got something really special to share with you. So I'm just going to turn things over to Kaycia so she can tell us her own story, her own journey in her own words, because it's the best way to do it. So Kaycia, thank you for meeting with us today. So excited to just put the spotlight on you so you can encourage other moms in their own journey. So why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about yourself, like where you live right now, just kind of like who you are, your family makeup, what you do, that kind of stuff, and then we'll get into some other questions.
All right, well, thanks for having me on today. And I live in Wisconsin. We've been here for 6 months now. We just moved from Minnesota, so we're about 5.5 hours away from our old location. And we're adjusting well here. Our daughter is 11. She'll be 12 in a few months. And then our middle son, he is 8, and our youngest is 4. So, and what we like to do is we typically like to do outside things like garden, or my husband's like very into hunting and all this stuff outdoors. So
you live in a really good spot for that, and living in the Midwest. That's
yes.
Awesome. What part of Wisconsin are you in? Are you up north? You down south?
We're in the middle. So like kind of like right in the smack dab middle of the state. Mm-hmm. So we've done some exploring around here. There's like big, huge like rock bluffs that come out of the ground, and they're like 190 feet tall. Like they're very tall. And so we've done some hiking up on the bluffs, and lots of, exploring what's different around this area, which is fun.
That's awesome. And I know your family's very adventurous. You do a lot of fun stuff with traveling as a family, which I think is so wonderful. Because sometimes when you have a bunch of kids, especially with your age range, 11 to 4, it can be a little daunting. Like, how do you do that? So, but we'll leave that for the end when Kaycia lets you know some of the great stuff she's got to share with other moms. So when did you become a mom, Kaycia? And what was that like for you? I know this is like it's been a journey for you. Mm-hmm. So when did you become a mom?
So, I got pregnant when I was 19 years old, and I didn't find out actually until 3 months later. So my husband and I were in college, boyfriend at the time, and we were just doing all of our college stuff and our classes, and then we took a break for the summer, and at the end of the summer is when I found out. I just assumed that I was finally getting boobs. Like that was like the difference. I was like, hey, awesome. Took till 19, but good. But then, so when we first stepped into parenthood, it was very like sudden, and we didn't even have the 9 months to prepare. We had 6 months to change all the things that we needed to change and get like move and get ready for a baby. It was a whirlwind, if I could say that. It's just so fat, like change so fast. And with that came a lot of judgment from a lot of outside sources. But also like within myself, I was dealing with like shame that I felt in that situation. And that like my image of like the good girl was kind of gone. So it was a little bit of a rough jump into parenthood, but parenthood in itself has been such a blessing.
Wow. And you were saying there was some pressure, like how is your family, like your immediate family, like your parents, his parents?
Yeah. So there was a lot of pressure to get married like right away. But there's also, I feel like I feel like we all like want to make people happy, right? And so I want to make people happy, and people like they want what's best for us. Sometimes when those don't align, it's when it gets hard and when it gets tricky, and the waters kind of get muddied a little bit. And so that's what I was walking through was like there were jokes made about me being pregnant in front of me, where I just try to like act like it doesn't hurt, or like things like my grandma told my sister, like, oh, are you like, did you hear about Jake and Amanda, which is my cousin's wife? They're having a baby. It's so exciting. Did you hear about Kaycia? What a shame. Just like things like that, like, which really, I, at that time, I thought that those were judgments on me and as a person, but now like that I've walked through that journey and I've been able to look back on the other side, it was their opinion on the situation, right? It was not defining of who I am. And my value doesn't come from other people's words. It comes from God and his plans for my life. So it was a journey, and like there were pressures from even strangers sometimes. But it was a really good spot to start my personal growth and start growing and seeing if like what people are saying of me is actually my identity. Like that's the thing that I needed to address. So.
And what helped you like in that time, in that fire, in those only like 6 months was so much going on. So what kind of helped you not crush under all of that pressure and the shame, like the inside, the outside?
Right. So from the time that I found out, I told my parents like 3 days later. I had 1 week until I moved back to college because I was living at home for the summer. So it was very nice to have some space and to just be me and think things through. I went to, finish that semester out, and I feel like the things that helped me were having space, still having my goals of what I'm going to do, right? And my boyfriend at the time, we had talked about getting married. Like we knew that we were going to be together. So we were kind of each other's support too. And I would say a lot of it is my faith too. Like when we get into situations where we can't do it, we can't hold ourselves up, then God is able to hold us up.
So how much later between baby being born did you end up getting married?
So we ended up getting married 3 months before. So we found out we got married 3 months later. It was Thanksgiving break.
Okay.
So we had an extra day, a day off of school. And we're like, hey, let's get married.
Go. Wow.
And so then our daughter was born. We got married in November, December, January. 3 months later, she was born.
There you go. And how was your birth? I mean, you were 19 at the time.
Yeah.
How did
it was, it went well. I was planning to have an epidural and all the things, and none of that happened because when I got there, I was 8 centimeters dilated and baby was ready to come. So it was, I don't know, walking through that journey for the first time and so fast was a little bit, I didn't know what to expect, but I learned a lot through that whole thing.
Okay. And did you stay home with your daughter after that? Did your husband drop out and support you? Like, what did that look like right after? You said you guys moved, you got married.
Right.
Quickly.
Yeah. So we moved, and then we ended up moving again after she was 3 months old. And so we moved into like we had the bottom of the house. We had friends renting the top of the house so we could afford it. And then I took 1 semester off of school. So right after she was born, I tried to do online school, like just do it online, but that wasn't working. Like just adjusting to motherhood and, lack of sleep in itself and doing a full course load didn't work. So I dropped down to 2 classes, and that's what I did that semester, and, raised our daughter. And then my husband ended up taking another semester off, not the same semester. He took the next semester off so he could work doing directional boring, which is putting fiber optic lines underneath roads. It's like a construction job. And that enabled us to save up enough to pay for rent for the next few months and then continue to finish our degrees.
Wow. So you did it. You finished your degree as
Yeah.
a new mom, newlywed with an unplanned pregnancy.
Yep. Yep. Our daughter was 1.5. Well, 1.5 by the time my husband graduated, and then 2 when I finished my student teaching.
Wow. How did you feel about that?
Good, good. Like um, it was a challenge, and it was, you know, definitely different navigating school with kiddos, a kiddo at home, and like having to schedule out my time. Like I have an hour. This is the time that I'm doing my homework, and then the rest of the time is being a mother. But we are both happy to uh, still finish college.
Okay. Did you have support from your family once baby was born and the scan
Yeah,
pregnancy was over? Like, how did they react then once?
right. Yeah, most of our family was supportive after. I feel like when a woman is unexpectedly pregnant, unexpected to them, there's a lot of judgment beforehand because, it's just a girl and she's got a big belly, and it's easy to say, hey, you did something wrong, you're standing in the wrong. But once the baby's born, most of the focus shifts from you did wrong, you're wrong, to loving the baby. Yeah,
Was it the first grandbaby for both
both
sides?
both sides. Yeah,
So the
because both Ethan,
grandma mode,
what?
the grandmas went into grandma mode.
Yeah, yep, yep.
Oh,
So,
good. And then you went on because you have two other children now,
yeah, yep,
7, 4. So it sounds like there was a bit of a gap between your firstborn daughter and then
yeah,
middle.
yes. There's 3.5 years in between each kiddo.
Okay. And so now that you're a more experienced mom, you've been, embracing motherhood now, you just walking the road for 11 years. What are some of your favorite tips and tricks that have made your mom life easier and just more enjoyable for you and your
Mhm,
family?
mhm. I would say that some of my, like, the things that help the most is making sure that I am fully present with them when they need me. Like if I am distracted and they need to talk after school, it just kind of carries on through the whole evening. Like, but if I make sure that on times that I know that they need me to like just talk and be emotionally there and physically there and have all my attention towards them, then everything flows better too. And I would say also like a, a tip would be okay to like have adventures with your kids. Like sometimes we get stuck into like, we got to do all the things, but taking time to adventure with your kids and explore with them and go to new places is it's so fun as an adult too. But then I get to watch the kids see waterfalls for the first time, or, build sandcastles. And it's adventuring is, I feel like, something that brings us closer together.
Absolutely. So it's one of your favorite adventures you've gone on.
Hmm. We have gone on a lot of adventures. So I tend to take kiddos on adventures like by myself, like me and 3 kids. We just go. Um, our favorite one, I would say, our going to Kentucky would be my favorite one. So that was a 14-hour drive. And I actually went with my friend, Allie. So she has 4 kids. So we had 7 kids. And we drove to Kentucky, and we went to the Ark,
Yes.
and we went to the Creation Museum. And I think it was like my favorite thing because those things, to be able to show our kids the size of the Ark and to walk through the Creation Museum is it was so like I could see it build their faith. And I could like those experiences where, and now we can look back at it and talk to them and be like, yeah, I remember how big the Ark was. And like they showed all the like different animals in the cages and how things, they're guessing how they would have worked in the Ark. Um, so I think that was a very good experience and probably my favorite adventure so far.
That's so cool. We told our kids that when all this is over, in 2021, at the time of this recording, and all our border restrictions, because I'm up in Canada, is over, that we're going to visit friends in Minneapolis, because that's where I went to Bible college, and we will stop at the Ark along the way, because we went a few years ago, but they didn't have the Ark even built. Like, it wasn't even started. It was just in like idea phase.
Oh, okay.
Every time I hear someone talk about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it sounds so amazing. And now that it's your favorite adventure, I'm so stoked to take things.
Yeah, it was super amazing and huge. You can spend an entire day at the Ark.
That's what I understand. Like, if you're going to do both, the museum and the Ark, you might want to just plan like a 2-3 day weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
Classes for all of that. So you've inspired me even more. That sparks my fire. Because adventures with the kids, making those memories while they're little. Because I just told my mom today, and she's like, I can't believe how fast time flew by. Like, can you believe your oldest is 11?
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like we've been hanging out together for that long, like 11 years, like
just a baby.
Yeah.
On the cusp of probably young womanhood. Probably, are you starting to see signs that she's growing up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she is like 2.5 inches shorter than me right now. She has bigger shoes than me. So, and like, it's just weird sometimes, like, because I'm so used to, holding her and like having like little kids, like, oh, it's okay. And like looking down, and now I'm looking straight at her. And like, she's just so big. So yeah, I didn't expect her to grow up so fast.
She might get taller than you.
Yeah, my husband is 6'4", so she's probably gonna get taller.
You'll be the shrimp for sure.
Yep.
How have you connected with God during these busy seasons of life? When the kids were little, now that you've got like tween, middle, little, how do you connect with God in the midst of all of that?
So I would say that there's like two kind of different ways that I've connected. Earlier on, we were moving constantly. And so I had, a 3.5-year-old, an infant. And in that time, how I connected with God was I journaled. And when I was lonely, I would just read my Bible, and I would reach out to some people, but mainly it was through like journaling, through prayer, and like just watching for all of like his faithfulness and how he shows up, even if we're in a hard time. And right now in this season, how I'm connecting with him is we do Bible time every day, and prayer. We do prayers before school, but the main thing right now is just seeing his provision for us, and that we've moved to a completely new area, but we still have an amazing church that we're able to connect with. And the kids they each have programs that they're able to go to on Wednesday night and Sundays. And like, to be able to be a part of that and to help them grow in their faith is really important to me. And I feel like it almost strengthens my faith too, to see them growing. So
that's beautiful. So we talked a little bit about homeschooling, because some women in my group choose to homeschool, and you were just sharing, though you homeschool briefly, but you have a goal towards homeschooling. You want to tell us a little bit about that, how you're going to get there?
Yeah, so we homeschooled for 6 months, and then we moved, and I was like, okay, well, let's get the kiddos into school so we can meet lots of friends. And this is a 2-year project that my husband's doing right now. He works construction. So I know we're going to be in Wisconsin for 2 years, and then we're moving back. And so my goal for right now is I'm creating my own business, and making sure that I'll be able to pay for their homeschooling in the ways that I want to homeschool. So I have, like, I'm sure you already know, I have an adventure rooted deep in my soul. And so like what we did on our last homeschooling stint is we went on trips to, like, we were talking about the natives and studying Native Americans, and then Yellowstone National Park and the geysers. And so we just took a trip out there. We went to the Native American museums, we went to the geysers, kind of thing. So right now, my goal is to get back to homeschooling in 2 years, by the time we move back home from Wisconsin. But in the meantime, I am building my business, so I'll have that flow of income. ready to go when I start homeschooling. So then we can homeschool to the style that I want to homeschool in.
Okay. And what's the style? Like, do you have some specifics in mind?
Yeah. Well, I'd like to be able to take them on trips, like to wherever we are studying or what we're studying about. Like I want to go there and let them explore and do more of like an outdoors homeschooling as well. And then also like I would love, and this is my plan, to have built-in support for those kiddos, like um say hire a retired science teacher to take a little bit of pressure off of me, but then also so the kids are still getting a great education in science where I'm not so responsible kind of thing. So that's my plan, is to put in supports in place as well.
That's great. And then you can just play to your strengths and your
Yes.
passions, and then not
Mhm.
feel like you're doing it completely on your own. That's so
Right.
great. That's one of the great things about homeschooling. There's so much versatility, and you don't
Yeah.
have to be like a professor whiz in literally everything, but a passionate, committed parent. That's the key ingredient, in my opinion, and my observation, for successful homeschooling. So you've already
Yeah.
got it. That's great. Awesome. So kind of touched on this. So do you work outside of the home right now, or you
Mhm.
work from home, and how do you make that fit?
Okay. So right now I'm building my home-based business, and the kiddos have, like, my older two go 5 days a week. My youngest goes 2 days a week to like a preschool. So those 2 days are my days to do all the things in my business. And I fit some into the other days, but mainly that's how I'm doing, is I'm scheduling those 2 days to focus without distractions.
Mhm.
So,
That's
and
great.
yeah, I do other things outside the home too.
Okay.
Like I worked at a daycare yesterday. And I like to step in when I'm needed. But right now my focus is the home-based business.
Okay. Now, if you could go back to yourself when you were a young mom, like 19, that time when it was all new, whether it was like before baby was born, after your firstborn daughter was born, and give yourself some words of advice and encouragement, what do you think you'd say?
I think I would say that your value is not contingent on what other people say or how other people act, and that you are created by God. And I feel like this goes out to all mamas, that you are created by God. He holds your value, and God is always in control. And so you always have value, no matter what the situations feel like or what other people say. Your value is non-negotiable.
That's a great quote. Your value is non-negotiable. Put that on a shirt. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
If people would like to get in touch with you, what would be some of the best ways to do that?
Facebook would be a great way,
Mhm.
or Instagram or YouTube. You can find my Facebook group, Homesick to Happy Movers, because we move a lot.
Mhm.
So Homesick to Happy Movers is a good place to find me. But more importantly, right now, I feel like with this goes with our theme, is right now I'm working on a book collaboration and about women sharing their stories of unexpected pregnancy. And so if you would like to reach out to me and share your story as well, you are definitely welcome to join into the book collaboration.
All right. How you got a couple spots left then?
Yes,
Right.
yep, we have 5 spots left.
Only a couple months left, so there's only a little window of time to get in. All right. So, ladies, just to reiterate, I'm gonna share all of Kaycia's contact links through, her Facebook group, her YouTube, said Instagram as well. So we'll give all the links if you'd like to get in touch with her. And she's running a book collaboration, which means, just in case you've never heard of that before, what it means, if I understand correctly, Kaycia, is everyone submits like a chapter. And the theme of the book, or the title of the book, you've got the title narrowed down, right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah. It's Finding Strength in Unexpected Pregnancy, Stories from Women Who Have Been There. So this book collaboration is to speak life over women who are standing in unexpected pregnancy. And there's the first part is stories from women who have been in unexpected pregnancy. And the second part is resources. So resource chapters of natural childbirth, of knowing your value, of there's infant loss stories, there's adoption stories, there's lots of different stories to help no matter what circumstance the unexpected pregnancy brings.
All right. That is going to be such a great book. So if that's something that's resonating with you, or you just want to talk more with Kaycia to see if that's something that would be a good fit, what would be the details, then I'll have all of her contact info so you can get in touch while there's still space in the book. So Kaycia, thank you so much. This was so beautiful and encouraging. I'm so glad we got a chance to do this. So
yeah, thank you.
ladies, and God bless you today. Thank you again, Kaycia.
Thank you. Bye.